Okay, my name's Chris. This is for Mr. Stump. I'm a Chief Technology Officer in Cambodia, and I think the most fun part about being a Chief Technology Officer is you get to kind of revamp entire enterprise systems from the ground up, and it's always a unique problem to solve. So the first question you always want to ask is, what do we want our users to be doing? How do we generate money? What's our total end goal? And basically, what we have is I like to draw. I'm not very good at it, but we've got our users, and we want them to book accommodations. And we also want that accommodation to be secure, transparent. We want to have all the data. We want to collect credit card information, blah, blah, blah. And if they do that, we have to come up with a solution to do that. So the best way to come up with a solution is first to go over how we're already doing it today. So basically, I have an audience here, so they might ask questions too, which helps me think. So we have users, and basically we have multiple channels where they can enter in and complete a booking. The first three are social, direct, which means they just came directly to us, organic, if they were searching on Google or Bing. And then those users end up on our website right now. And when users hit book now, they get redirected to a third party called Hotel Link Solutions. It's a relatively good deal. It's $70 a month. And what Hotel Link Solutions does is it collects the data, the transaction data. So it manages calendar efforts, so whether the room is available or not. It collects credit card information that we charge later. It collects customer details like their name, their email, blah, blah, blah. But what it does not do in a full complete solution is manage the check-in process, food ordering, KIT points, which is like brand loyalty. It doesn't do any customer relations, messaging, any sort of that stuff. Then down here we also have Booking.com and Agoda. Users that book there, they pass the data to Hotel Link Solutions as well. And Hotel Link Solutions stores the calendar and the customer credit card information, blah, blah, blah. Then on our side, we have what's called an ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Planning, I think. I'm not good on the hip buzzwords these days, but we use oodoo. And basically oodoo is functioning as our ERP, and it's a big data entry system. And so that syncs with Hotel Link Solutions up here, and it trades data back and forth. And so our staff, our KIT employees, do stuff. They handle stuff like in-person check-in. So they'll type in this person checked in today. Credit card transactions. So after booking, we manually go in, look at Hotel Link Solutions, and charge that credit card, and then type in, we charge them $100, blah blah blah. Food ordering, we type that in on site and into Odoo. This is all data entry into Odoo. Accounting, KIT points, any sort of customer relations, notes, messaging or notifications are kind of non-existent. It's just kind of like, you call and get what you want. It doesn't, any sort of reviews maybe. And basically that's sync. So we've got like the customer journey touches a lot of different platforms many times, and there's a lot of opportunity for failure in data entry. If one person gets it wrong, or at any layer of this, our whole data starts to become inaccurate. So the best way to do it is actually to have it all in one system as best you can. And so that's this one. So web apps are kind of the shiz, in my opinion. So every one of these systems, social, direct, organic, Booking.com, Agoda, you want to lead them all to your own website, or your web app in this case. The difference between website and web app has a lot more app-like functionalities. A website is basically just kind of like a displayer of information. A web app has function. So ideally, this web app would be a lot like Airbnb. If you think about Airbnb, it handles the calendar, it handles the credit card transactions, the customer details. Food ordering, it doesn't do, but it would if it did. Brand loyalty points, it handles that. In-person check-in, it handles all that, so it emails you, like this is your check-in details. It handles reviews directly on site. Any sort of customer relations, messaging back and forth, happens directly in the same app. And stuff like that. And in our case, we want to lump in the shuttle bus as well. So like booking transportation to and from the accommodation. The reason why you want to house it all in a single web app is for a myriad of reasons. One is that you want your data to be as single input as possible. So you don't want it to be manipulated as much as possible. So every time that it gets downloaded and transferred and synced and sent and whatever, there's a chance for error there and a technical breakdown. You don't want that. And then lots more reasons.
Easy to handle.
Yeah. It's you don't want to have to train your staff or your user to use multiple different systems. So from a user experience perspective, even when they go to our website and then they jump to another third party to a different looking page or whatever, that's jarring to the brand from a marketing perspective. On the back, go ahead.
You have to include less people. Like there are going to be less people who are taking care of the process.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more.
Yeah, it greatly reduces human labor, like all the data entry and human check-in, and we have a lot of problems with that, especially with language barriers. This is something that could auto-detect your language because you made a profile, and we can message you back and forth in your native language, blah, blah, blah. So there's good opportunity there. From a data side and marketing, from SEO, search engine optimization. Every daily active user you get on your domain helps you rank. And so, like I have paulchrisluke.com as a domain name, but when you search my name, Facebook comes up first because facebook.com has way more daily active users than paulchrisluke.com. And so if we get even our internal relations, so our front desk people, if they're using the same website, vkirirom.com, rather than what we do right now as an on-site IP, then we're getting default daily active users just from employees using the system. We get daily active users from everybody doing it. And so we want to consolidate all of our subdomains, all of our files. We want to run everything through a singular domain web app as much as possible because that gives us huge boosts in SEO. And basically, if we can contain all of that in the same web app, what I would do from the ERP perspective, which I don't want this to come off as insulting, but like I believe is kind of like a dying thing. We just want to chunk pieces out of that ERP and build it into a single web app. But we would just provide an API and dump all that data back into Odoo like we do. We would just do a daily sync or whatever, and basically just use Odoo for its accounting capabilities, which is really where it's strong. There's a lot of sub-projects that we're working on right now at KIT specifically that we could do in the single web app. The shuttle bus system, the KIT points, which is basically just brand loyalty. That's after someone books, we can say thanks for coming, you get 10% off, here's some free points, blah, blah, blah. We can do food ordering and lump all that into the same system. What are some other products that we have? You know, the issues we have with check-in and trying to do smart lockers. Smart lockers could be lumped into this project as well because we would just basically text the person the code that they can open up their locker and say your keys are in there and your towels or whatnot. And so we could have a humanless, frictionless check-in if we wanted to. That's what Airbnb does. And alleviate a lot of problems there. I think the biggest benefits are obviously lower overhead over time. The less human labor you have over time is better. We can greatly increase our profit margin on accommodations, and mostly ease the user check-in process. Like we can automate friendliness and things like that, and just make it easier. Better SEO. Better traffic, better data, blah, blah, blah. This is a big project though. and so like it's going to be, if I had 2 full-time developers that were experienced and ready to go, maybe 6 months of work to capture most of the major features that I have a feeling President Takeshi is looking for. We might be able to go faster with a 3rd developer. Maybe we reduce that down to like 3 months, but it's a costly affair as well. Airbnb is a very expensive site, and it was no small task to get it to where it was. And they have teams of developers purely dedicated to each pages. Actually, if you knew, they've got a whole like departments that homepage is their department, search page is their department, listing page is their department, and they break it up into huge. Like that's how they break it up because it's that important. So it's costly. I would say I would need two full-time, one front-end, one back-end developer that works directly with me that are experienced, that are not students, that can go full-time. We might be able to go faster. Thanks to modern technology, we can do a lot of this. Netlify hosting does a lot of customer relations. If we use Stripe, it can handle the credit card transactions and we don't have to store it in our servers. We just have to have a Japanese bank account in that case. So it's possible. I'm excited about it. I mean, like, it's an interesting project, and if we can also resell it, right? Because basically what we're making is a whole hotel booking solution, which is what everybody in Cambodia and Southeast Asia is, the whole tourist industry. And what you can do is you can go and say, like, we've got this to you. It's like Airbnb, but it's white labeled for you. Your hotel, it looks like this, boom, and does your customer relations, blah blah blah, and it can be really strong and licensable and revenue generating. And all that sweet juicy data. So yeah, costly time, but something that we can do, and I'd be very excited about it. And I could certainly use, Mr. Stump, I could certainly use your help. Like, this is where I'm not good at, like getting approval, costs, having meetings, like talking about which features we're going to do first. Well, I mean, I understand conceptually, but you know, like the process of it all is where I'm really terrible. But I have a pretty clear idea of where I'm going with it. And if you need more details, that's it. Hotel booking. That's it.